Hey, what's up? How's it going? My name is Faern, and what you found here is my weekly energy report. What I do is each week I tap into what's going on with the collective and I deliver a little bit of a how to sort of thing. It is a guide to the phase that we're in or moving through. And it's not about predictions, it's about how to work with the energy that we're given. All right, just a moment. Be right back. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I hope that you've had a good week and welcome back. We are on August 13th. No, it's the 12th, and it's Wednesday. And I'm sure you've noticed, but the past few days, yesterday was a little bit like a lull, but the days before that were extreme. We have had a beautiful, vibrant, giant influx. And I say that with a little bit of a humor because it was not beautiful. Well, the light was beautiful, and my body is still amazing. But the reactions, the actions that I had to go through, where the body and let's just say consciousness decided to meet, became a very big purge. And I am not the only one. Is this something that you had happen as well? Please share with me. I would love to hear about it. And that was on the 8-8 portal that most people had this big jump in energy. The waves that I spoke about last time are really big right now. And the best thing to do is to just know that that's happening. We still have days left of this influx. I didn't really talk about it last week because I didn't have a good sense of really what was happening, except for the wave thing and that we're going to purge, okay? Some of us purged right on the beginning portion, and some of us will still purge, maybe again, okay? We have days left of these waves, and that doesn't mean that they'll go away after that. It just means that maybe you'll get more comfortable with them, and there will be some sort of a retraction. And I don't mean like someone's going to take away the energy. I mean expansion, retraction, contraction. Yeah, that's what I meant. Big circle, little circle. Yeah, imagine it that way. It's like an aperture on a camera. And the smaller the hole, I don't know if you know this about the camera, the smaller the hole in the aperture, the more details are available for the photograph. Now, that's a very limited way to explain that, but from an energy perspective, from someone that is energy sensitive, this will make sense. The more you focus on something, the more choices you're going to have, whether or not it's going to be intense, acute, things like that. If your focus turns into an argument, you might have a more physical response. It's just the way it goes for an energy sensitive person. That being said, we're now in a clearing zone. So we went through, and now the waves are still here, but our phase is clearing. And this is one of our longer phases. It's moving us right into a very deep soul listening phase, which is going to be short, okay? That is the day that a lot of people set their intentions. I'm absolutely not saying to do that. In fact, it is my practice to not do that on the darkest of dark days. I personally, if I'm going to set an intention, I went over this a few weeks ago. If I'm going to set an intention, I don't choose the phase to do it in. I choose when my heart says, now is the time, okay? When we come into that new moon period where everyone's setting intentions, if you want to do that, great. I think it's beautiful. It's very helpful. Just try and have some finesse about it. Let's consider doing this right as the light begins to come back. Okay, just try that little percentage. Just see if you as an energy sensitive person feel the difference in doing that action. I'm not talking about your outcome. Don't, okay, I thought that was going to keep honking. Don't get into the outcome. Avoid that a little bit. Focus on where you are, especially if when you get into that soul listening day and you're really starting to dig. Notice if you're digging because you're looking for something to do, because you feel like it is the purge. You don't have to find something to dig up to throw out. Your body will do it for you. Serious. You don't have to choose that. You just have to choose to be present with your body as it chooses to release whatever it releases. That is one way to look at a purge. It's also a way to look at when to set your intentions. I enjoy this shift as an energy sensitive person because it gave me the permission to give myself permission to do it as it felt right for me in my system. Okay? So I'm giving you the permission to seek that out. Okay? Okay. So as we move through this clearing, which is a longer phase, and we get into that soul listening day, watch how you get there. Notice any little components that come up. If you are feeling like all of a sudden the parameters that you're working within are small, work with expanding those parameters versus looking for something else to do instead of that. So what does that even mean, Faern? Well, some people feel oppressed by other people's parameters. And I don't mean boundaries. If you're going to do the boundary thing, I recommend doing personal boundaries. Avoid giving any advice out to people, especially if you're an energy sensitive person and you've just started to work with this. When we get into this clearing phase and we move into soul listening, which then brings us to a very inspirational phase, if you feel very compelled to give some spiritual advice to someone in these times, maybe write it down and don't tell them. It's possible this is more for you. It's just that this other person is kind of bringing it up for you. This is part of being energy sensitive. It's common, especially if you're new to the way that we do things. It's very helpful to learn that. Around the 18th and 19th is when these waves are supposed to start to contract. I don't like that word. Let's say, it's not even less. The effects are supposed to be less. Let's put it that way. I am not sciencey enough to give you any more than that. It is an effect on the body, right? So if we're energy sensitive, we need to watch what is affecting us. These big waves that are moving through, they're supposed to be less. And they say a date where they're supposed to be less. Will that be accurate? I don't know. They usually are for me. Give or take a number of hours on either end. So you might want to start taking notes, especially if this is a little bit interesting. Okay. As we move through and we get into the action intention and the inspirational time, which comes right after our soul listening, we want to pay attention to what actions we can do in order to move towards the intention that we're working with, okay? This doesn't mean it's a work time. This means it's a note-taking time, let's say. That's one way to put it. Yeah. I feel like there's so much to say right now that I'm kind of talking over myself a little bit. And this is because we are like kind of in that jumpstart day where clearing is already starting, but it's almost like things have to move around a little bit, and today is definitely that day. Things need to move around, things need to get pushed out, conversations need to be had with other people, with myself, things like that. And if I could just say that it's not just you. Where these phases are concerned and some of the details that I add in, from a personal perspective, it's challenging to know which things to share. And from a collective perspective, it is challenging to really know which things to take on. And this is why it's so important to have discernment. And when we go through these phases, as we move forward, one of the things that I want to try and do is offer a solution around what the discernment could be within each phase that we go through. And not to say like change your mind all the time, but each phase has its own way of sharing what is possible for our understanding, which is why it's a phase. It's like none of this is set in stone. It's something that's there for us to work with and mold and shape so that we can be the people that we are and that we're meant to be, and that we can then share that with others. Our story, the details, not necessarily important, but when you get into the details and you remember, oh, I liked that sweater and my mom gave that to me, or I had that on my 5th birthday, whatever that is, those details, they may not feel important. But when you share that nugget with someone, they see that you love the thing, okay? That was an important thing to you. So the detail isn't important. It's that feeling that you're left with. That's what you're sharing. This is something I've been trying to learn. This is something that I have been actively working with, and which is why I love doing these videos. And I want so much to talk to people about this. It is so important that we understand where we're coming from and why our input is valuable. Not from competitive point of view, not from popularity, not from even being right or wrong, from a perspective of earthbound, heart-shaped living. If this is something that you're interested in, tomorrow I'm holding a free Zoom meetup, and it is for talking about being energy sensitive. I, of course, am going to lead it, but I'm hoping that some of the people that attend will want to share. You can talk into the video, we'll have a discussion, or you can type something in privately to me and I can read it out to the group. I'm trying to create a new type of container, and I would love it if you would let me know if you have any questions, or maybe tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time isn't good for you. Communicate with me, be on my email list, follow me on Instagram. Most of the people coming to the meeting are in my Instagram community, so you can visit us there. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and paying attention, and for giving me all your wonderful love and questions and input. It means so much to me that I'm able to share with you, and that you can take that and give it to somebody else, even if it's back to me. That just means that I give it away again. So let's keep going. Thank you. If you enjoy these readings, I would love to invite you to check out my website. It's my name, Faern, Faern.me, and check out my shop, see my podcast there, and I have some other things, online yoga classes, and I'll be holding some workshops and things like that going forward. Check it out and let me know what you think. Thanks for being here. Bye.